Hi everyone, this is Jim with JP Reacts. We come to learn about what politicians are saying and what they actually mean by their conversations with the people. Today we're looking at a speech by President-elect Biden about masking, vaccinations, and opening back up of schools. So hopefully you would enjoy that conversation, and if you do, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. But if you're interested, listen to the next part. Okay, so we're going to jump right into President-elect Biden's statements. It starts right. It seems like it starts right in the middle. So let's hear what he has to say.
Today, I'm announcing that in consultation with Dr. Tony Fauci, we developed the first three objectives of the new initiative that I'm asking this team to complete once I'm sworn in our first 100 days in office. My first 100 days won't end the COVID-19 virus. I can't promise that. But we did not get into this mess quickly. We're not going to get out of it quickly. It's going to take some time. But I'm absolutely convinced that in 100 days we can change the course of the disease and change life in America for the better.
Okay, so let's stop right there. He's talking about, obviously, this is all about COVID and what's going on with the country. Just want to give the quick stats as of today, December 13th at around 6 p.m. Central Time. Currently in the United States, there are about over 16 million cases and just under 300,000 deaths since it's come about. So we are deep in the midst of this, and it's not looking totally great for what's going on. Basically, the case has been totally mismanaged by President Trump, and that has led to many more deaths than needed to be necessary. And what President-elect Biden seems like he's going to roll out is his plan to combat the virus in the first 100 days of his presidency, and how he's going to handle that moving forward. So our current death rate has been dropping. We're down now to 1.8%, which is still pretty good, still higher than the flu. So we want to make sure we keep that in check moving forward and to keep moving in the right direction of wearing masks, taking precautions, not meeting in large groups, and when the vaccine comes out, making sure we get that vaccine. So let's hear what the next part is about.
First, my first 100 days is going to require, I'm going to ask for a masking plan. Everyone for the first 100 days of my administration to wear a mask. It will start with my signing an order on day one to require masks where I can under the law, like federal buildings, interstate travel on planes, trains, and buses. I'll also be working with the governors and mayors.
That is key. This is something President Trump could have done right away when this started breaking out, requiring masks in federal locations. That's something he has complete control over. There's no reason why he didn't do it other than he just decided not to. He didn't take it seriously enough. So glad President-elect Biden is planning on doing that. It's a step that should have been taken a long time ago.
To do the same in their states and their cities. We're going to require masks wherever possible. But this goes beyond government action. And so,
sorry to keep pausing right away, but coordinating with governors and mayors is also key. That's a big thing that the federal government can do, is coordinate across the country. There are some limits to its jurisdiction, and there are limits to what it can do, but it can be a central hub for coordinating between the different states and the mayors and making sure everybody's on the same page and pulling on the same rope. So I'm glad part of his plan is right away to get involved the state and local governments.
So, as a new president, I'm going to speak directly to the American people and say what I'm saying now. We need your help. Wear a mask for just 100 days. It's the easiest thing you can do to reduce COVID cases, hospitalizations, and death. Help yourself, your family, and your community. Whatever your politics or point of view, mask up for 100 days once we take office. 100 days to make a difference. It's not a political statement, it's a patriotic act. It won't be the end of our efforts, but it's a necessary and easy beginning, an easy start. Secondly, this team will help get at the last 100 million COVID-19 vaccine, at least 100 million COVID vaccine shots into the arms of the American people in the first 100 days. 100 million shots in the first 100 days. And we'll follow the guidance of science to get the vaccines to those most at risk. That includes healthcare professionals, people in long-term care, and as soon as possible, it will include educators. This will be the most efficient mass vaccination plan in U.S. history.
I'm glad he's bringing up the educators. A lot of our nation's educators are in high-risk groups to begin with, and they are going to be teaching children that may or may not be vaccinated right away. And even though children have been very well able to withstand the virus and not get super sick, some have still. It's still dangerous to children, but the vast majority have not seen high risk of having complications once they contracted it. They could still pass it along to other people. And that primary people they're going to be passing on to will be their teachers and the people that work at schools. And those people could either be high risk themselves or they could live with people that are high risk. So it's going to be really key to get those vaccinations out, not just to first responders and high risk people, but also the educators, because schools are going to be a key disease vector that we need to make sure we keep under control. Let's see what's next.
I credit everyone who's has gotten us up to this point. But developing a vaccine is only one Herculean task. Distributing it is another Herculean task. And vaccines in a vial only work if they're injected into an arm of people, especially those most at risk. This will be one of the hardest and most costly operational challenges in our nation's history. We're going to need Congress to fully fund vaccine distribution to all corners of the country, to everyone. I'm encouraged by the bipartisan efforts in Congress around a $900 billion economic relief package, which I've said is critical. But this package is only a start for more action early next year.
Yeah, there's been some movement in the Senate on a $900 billion package of COVID relief. It's bipartisan, which is promising. The only hurdle right now seems to be Majority Leader McConnell, who seems to be hell-bent on not actually doing it. Hopefully he'll come around. People in Kentucky hopefully are leaning on him to bring this up to a vote, because it's likely it'll pass if it was ever brought up to a vote. So hopefully we can move forward on that first part of the COVID relief. $900 billion is not going to do it for overall.
We must also focus significant resources on direct public health response to COVID-19. Our preliminary review of Trump administration's vaccine distribution plans confirms media reports. Without urgent action by this Congress this month to put sufficient resources into vaccine distribution and manufacturing, which the bipartisan group is working on, there's a real chance that after an early round of vaccinations, the effort will slow and stall. Let me repeat, we need Congress to finish the bipartisan work underway now, or millions of Americans may wait months longer to get the vaccine. Months longer than they otherwise would have to wait to get the vaccination.
Yeah, Congress needs to definitely make sure that they put money aside. Congress is the only place where the money can be appropriated. They're in charge of the budget. They have the sole discretion how the money is spent from the federal government. And if they don't appropriate the money, which means they don't say, hey, this money can be spent, then it won't be, and a lot of the logistics will fall by the wayside, like President-elect Biden says. So let's see what the next part.
Look, and then we're going to need additional action next year to fund the rest of the distribution efforts. We also need the Trump administration to act now, though, to purchase the doses it has negotiated with Pfizer and Moderna, and to work swiftly to scale manufacturing, to U.S. populations and the world. This can be fixed. If it is fixed, my team will be able to get at least 100 million vaccinations done in my first 100 days. The third thing I'm going to ask in the 100.
Before he moves on to his third thing he's going to ask, the fact that he's going to have to rely on President Trump's team is kind of concerning. They have not shown competence in this area, and hopefully there are still some adults on his team that are moving forward in the right direction and making sure that progress is being made on, like he said, ramping up production, but also making sure we are purchasing those vaccines for the United States. There's some news reports earlier this week that he turned down 100 million doses from Pfizer for the vaccine. Not really sure why, but hopefully we can get past that and make up the ground that we potentially could have been lost. Hopefully there are people on his team that are working on this, even though they have yet to show very much confidence in their response to the COVID-19 crisis. Hopefully that won't continue in the lead up to the inauguration of President-elect Biden in January.
Days. It should be a national priority to get our kids back into school and keep them in school. If Congress provides the funding we need to protect students, educators, and staff, if states and cities put strong public health measures in place that we all follow, then my team will work to see that a majority of our schools can be open by the end of my first 100 days. That's right. We'll look to have the most schools open that we can possibly in 100 days if Congress provides the funding we need.
Super key. I know a lot of parents would be happy that their kids are going back to school. And it's going to really take a joint effort between the President Biden at that point, and Congress to move the ball forward to make sure that happens. Money is going to be needed to get the vaccines out, and people are going to have to participate and make sure that they're taking the vaccine and also that they're masking whenever possible when they're in public. It's going to be a joint effort from both Congress and the government, but also the people like everyday people like us to make sure that we're taking the steps necessary to make that happen. So we're almost to the end here. Let's see what this last little bit's about.
It's not a secret how to do it. Masking, vaccinations, opening schools. These are the three key goals for my first 100 days. But we'll still have much to do in the year ahead, and sadly, much difficulty as well.
Okay, so that was his plan to get the vaccination going and making sure that we have a plan in his first 100 days for combating the virus. There's a lot of things in there, starting with masking. He's asked. It's good that he's working both at the federal and the state level, but also going to be reaching out to the American public on what to do and try to have a patriotic plan to wear masks in public, at least for the first 100 days. And then the last part about getting the vaccine out and ready and getting kids back to school sounds like a good plan. It's just going to it's going to come down to the execution of that plan. So hopefully you learned something from President Biden, and hopefully I was able to add a little bit more context to that overall conversation. If you did, please like this video below. Subscribe to the channel. Tell me below if there's any videos that you've seen that you think would be good for me to react to. I'm going to be happy to talk about it, or if I got something wrong. Obviously, want to learn about that too. Until next time, though, I'll see you around the internet. Have a great day. Bye.